or finger swapping content, I don't know, one of those ones, but it depends how you use your phone, I guess. But you want them to stop what they're doing. So put this on, what the heck is going on here? So this could be this is with the Chamber of Commerce Business Excellence Awards, and they are a sponsor of an award, and we would go out and we would thank all the gold sponsors, but we would find out what's going on. So here this was, you need her, you guys need her, because she was installing fiber optics. Okay, so that's what this was all about, was installing fiber optics. So should that happen in the near future, you'd be out and they'd be like, yay, we got it, we're here, woo, that kind of thing. So this is the one, Jax, that I was talking to you about. So Jax is the one that was on Instagram, very popular, but they were not noticing any of the it's not retweets, it's not Twitter, it's Instagram, any of the reposts, anything in there. And so that there, and I want to show you too, we took that share strategy of the live streams. The other thing we would do, just so you know on top of this, is every place I would go, I would take a couple pictures to pre-promote that we were doing the live stream. Okay? And then look at all the tags. All those people were part of that. So if you do enough photos over the course of like a 4, 8, 12, 16-week campaign, and every time you're in a photo, like I'm at Jack's, but all of those people are a part of this, so this was such a great trek across the county, they're a part of that, you're going to tag them because they're part of the campaign, and they get a mention. So they don't get one mention, they get like 30 mentions. See the difference? Makes a huge, huge difference. I just wanted you to see what kind of happens, what it looks like behind the scenes. So this was one where we went, and the reason why he's looking at me here is we were in the restaurant, we were actually live streaming. This wasn't a fake live stream. And some people were walking out of the restaurant, and I said, how was your experience? How was it? And he's looking at me like, what if they say something terrible? Oh my gosh, right? He was freaking out. But it turned out okay, and then that was the one, like it hit 50,000 people, and we were live. And by the after, we were sitting there going to different areas, and it was like, is it 2,000? Is it 5,000? Is it 10,000? Is it 30,000? Like this was all within a couple hours. It was crazy, and this is just small town, like nothing, like this isn't crazy, big county or town or anything. This was in Kingsville. So this one we were talking about chocolate, again going in, doing another live stream there. This was, we're showing and talking about the results. So I'm talking about grasping these opportunities, going in, experiencing it, having experiences together as a community, because it does make a huge, huge difference. One thing I wanted to see if you were all on Instagram, for instance, is are any of you using Linktree? Good on you. Okay, this is my new favorite thing, is Link. You might want to write this down. So linktr.ee, Linktree. And what that is, I really like it for Instagram. So in your profile, if you were to say like, go to my website for blah, 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 like you can have one URL, right? What Linktree does is, it's a free site. It's very easy. You just like make a profile. But you can have multiple URLs. So let's say you were wanting them to go to your website, your Facebook page, a contest or whatever it is, or maybe it's like somewhere else. You can have a ton of different URLs there. So then on Instagram, when you want to say, share this, they can't share, but let's say you had a video on Facebook, and you would say like, share this video from our Facebook page, be entered to win, click the direct link in our bio above to enter, and they don't have to think about it. They just go up, there's a little thing, and it looks like this. You can change the color in the background, it would have your business, and each one of those is a separate link. So instead of one now, you've got 5 or 6 or whatever you want, different URLs. It just helps. I find it's helpful on oh my gosh, there's too many things to talk about here, on Instagram. There we go. It's on Instagram. Yeah, and then also reposting. Are any of you using reposts? So good job. So this is the big thing also that I'm noticing with businesses right now, is that they're forgetting the repost. So it's an app on your phone that you can just download. It's really simple. But if people are mentioning you and they're talking about their amazing experience with you and they've tagged you, use this, and then you can repost their content. And that's that reciprocity. It's one, it's saying thank you, but it's also the social proof, right? So there are all these pictures here of like at Jack's, and I kept saying like people are taking pictures of their drinks, their experience, their cookies, all these different, and this is all recent stuff that we were going through of like, I've stayed here, this is awesome, but nobody was seeing this. This was like hundreds and hundreds of photographs that were sitting out there like dying to be used, right? It's like, oh my gosh, here's the content. You're asking where the content is. It's right there. And it went on and on and on. And so then I posted that, all of those for them. And then the phone lit right up. It was like, so-and-so liked it. They liked it. Because as soon as they get the notification that you posted their picture, then then they see it and they're like, oh, thanks, they like me. Oh my gosh. That makes them want to do it more for you. So do you see how like that is really important to do? So that's an Instagram thing, but something important I wanted to mention to you too. So another big thing too is that a trend I wanted to mention here was ephemeral content is going to keep gaining in popularity. And what I mean by that is in the moment. I'm in the moment. So that story on Instagram, like, hey everybody, I'm here. Like, this was an example. We were shooting outside and it was so blasted cold that day. And I just was like, hey, cold weather, shooting outside, and I did a little something and I got tons of hits. I couldn't speak either. It was like more like, it's really cold over here today. Maybe that's why it was, because I couldn't even speak. It was so cold. But that people are nosy. People are curious. They want to know. So the goats and things, and just if you have time in that moment, we don't all have that kind of time, but if you do, or another thing you can do is be somewhere, batch it, keep it, and use it later. I do that more often than not, because I just, in that moment, I don't have time to sit and like, but if my husband's driving the car and I'm in the passenger seat and I'm on, that's when I do like homework and I'm like, oh, I'll post this to the, and then the timing might not be like when I just did it, but that's okay. Nobody knows, right? Nobody knows, that kind of stuff. So the other part to here is video is not going anywhere. It's going to keep dominating, and I think you all know that. I mean, we've seen from 2017 to now where Instagram was imagery to video to, and then it blows my mind that we go to stories, to squares, to reels, to IGTV, to it just goes on and on and on, and TikTok. And so, yeah, the big takeaway here is with your sharing strategy, have a strategy with your videos. So if you're going to batch them, you can do that, save yourself time, but over the course of time, you're going to develop that greater impact, okay? And when I say live streaming, it doesn't mean you have to be live. You can fake live if you want to and you feel more comfortable with that. We tend to do that simply from a timing issue and also because of a connectivity issue, because I will be some places that it doesn't always work. And we even bought really high-end stuff that was satellite, and it would start and we'd be like green and weird for like a minute, and then it would dissolve and then it would work, and I just thought, you know what, I got tired of that. So I went, forget it, let's just schedule it, make it look good and clean, right to the point, done. So this is what I want you to be looking at when you are looking at your content in your insights for Facebook, for instance. When I'm talking about those live streams, these are the peaks right here. And every single time you do a video with a live like this, I'm going to pretty much guarantee, I've never had one fail, that it doesn't do better than all the rest of your posts. It will always do better. Whoops. They will. And so this is what I was also mentioning too as an example of if you're going to go live in a day or so or 2 days, put a little note up, schedule it, and if it's regularly, like this was for the Builders Association, we did a picture, the day, the time, this is when it's going to go live, and then their logo, and then we would go live with them. And this is like, we were talking about, this was another really cool day, and this was about masonry. So we were talking about bricks and mortar. We reached 11,000 people and we had almost 7,000 views, like local bricks and mortar. And this was a sump pump guy. He was almost at 17,000 people. He looks really happy, right? Like right? Like, and this is like in a closed-in sort of like shop area and nothing fancy. So honestly, the biggest advice now is pull off the Band-Aid. Don't worry about being super fancy. I mean, fancy is always great if you can do it, but don't worry about it. Just go and do it, because we live in this world now that everybody rips out their cell phone and they're like, ah. If anything, it's doing a disservice to what I do, right? Because you can do this now. You don't need me necessarily. So at the end of the day here, this is what I was interested in what you were saying here, because technology, it's at an all-time high for adoption rate. So I'm just curious, maybe it's the area. Is this more like of people that have decided to reside here, that their thought process is like a slow, like I don't want to say a slower way of living, like they just don't want the busyness of it. So maybe the technology is part of the not wanting to embrace the technology. I'm not sure. I don't know. So we have to get to know who they are, because you've got the different, like, there's a whole sea of like who adopts technology and when they do. And right now, it's at an all-time high, higher than it's ever been actually for adopting technology. So I was really interested that you said that. So we're going to end with some of the key guidelines for sharing your content. And this will be for when you're making your own content. Okay, just a few things to take away here. So one, we want to connect with each other. It's not just about you and your brand. It's about your customers that also use your brand or use the city, or that if everybody can kind of connect and have a conversation with each other. A good example of that is right now we're doing similar strategy for the community employment services in Woodstock. And we have a 6-week campaign, and every week it's about a different sector of work. So it could be agriculture, hospitality, transportation and logistics. Every week we post these videos, and we have people that are writing in about their experiences, and I'm seeing other dialogue. Best job I ever had was on the farm doing this and this and this. And it's really interesting to see people speaking in the comments to each other. So I've really taken away that. I put this picture up here because when I say about connecting with each other, this business is Amstet Jewelers, and it's based in Godrich, and we're just working on a project for them right now. And what happened was these two brothers, so you got David and Michael, they've had the business for many years. The business started in 71 years ago, and Kathy Amstet used to be in Stratford and have a flower business, so that's their sister. She worked in the business of jewelry like years ago in the beginning, left, and they're retiring, and she's coming back to take it over. So what we're doing now is a series of videos to not only explain the takeover, but to include the audience. What we are doing is twofold. One, we're doing a Share the Love campaign. So if you ever got a ring or whatever, if you had anything from Amstet Jewelers, they want to know your story and they want a picture, and you send it in, and they're having a contest around that. So that was a way of they want dialogue with all of their different customers, and they had stores in Stratford, London, Godrich. They had about 5 or 6 different stores. So it's quite an interesting story of just that legacy, that overall legacy and family and memories and love and all of that good stuff. So trust. Trust is the cost of entry for getting shared. And so that goes back to your passion, your values, your expertise. Be the expert you are, and you'll get shared. So I go back to those videos. I can already see you making those videos because how you said and presented yourself with it, it was perfect. It was great. That's what you're giving of information. Whoops. Keep it simple. It doesn't have to be crazy. Simple as a goat being out there, just something fun and cute and make someone's day. Easy peasy. Or a beautiful scenery, or the shot of Jeff making something, and I see you've done that there. The eyes eat, I'm always told, right? And it's true, the eyes do always eat. And appealing to their sense of humor, going back to that one there, that's, again, humor definitely gets people going, especially right now. I mean, everybody can use a laugh. And also embracing a sense of urgency. So within the town, in the community, if there are certain things that have a deadline, make people share now, or have a date if there is something that if you have a contest or something to go with that. It depends. It's that sense of urgency. It's one of those triggers of influence. Triggers of influence is scarcity. So it would be like the new iPhone or whatever just came out. Actually, I got an email the other day from someone at Apple saying, Melissa, we have a new announcement that's coming out, because they know I like these products, right? We have a new announcement. You want to tune in because it will only be up for a certain amount of time. That's what I mean. He's appealed to the sense of urgency. I'm like, ooh, right? Scarcity. I want to get in on this. So. And getting your content shared is just the beginning. So this is a rinse and repeat kind of thing. This isn't just woo, once and I'm done. This is get shared again, listen to what they're saying, and listen to what people are telling you and what is coming back at you, and then get credit. And also, when I say get credit for responding and respond, that's where you're doing the reposts, retweeting, thank you, just recognizing your audience. It sounds like a lot of work, right? Sounds like a lot of work. It is at times, but it can be very rewarding. At the end of it too, remember I mentioned to you, what would happen if none of this existed? If you didn't have social media, do you have a backup plan if there was no social media? And I think many of us are probably guilty of this. I mean, I'm even guilty of it too, because where does your audience reside? A lot on social media. So is there a way you can take your social plan and push them to your website, or push them to an email blast that you do, even if it's like quarterly or annually or something, but to get their email address so that you have access to that later on, because email still does, you can close sales and emails in there, right? And you've got it, so whether it is the time of year and you're going to have a special event, or you're going to be preparing something special and you want to get that out to your audience, because those are your regulars. And go back to like 80% of your sales is from 20% of your customers and clients, right? Or the word of mouth of those people. They're your ambassadors, so use them and put that out there. Okay, last but not least, I wanted to share with you, you might want to jot some of this down, some of the best times to post on Facebook. So, or best times to post. So Facebook is really weird. It has changed a lot over the past 1 to 2 years, but this is the most recent information and the most recent stats. So on Facebook, they're actually saying Wednesdays are a really good time to post on Facebook. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So when I do campaigns, I usually pick, if I'm posting 2 days a week, I usually do a Wednesday and a Friday at 11 a.m. That's my sweet spot usually. So, and then a Tuesday and a Saturday is what I'm doing right now for one. That's why my phone went off at 11 o'clock. No, what day is it today? It's Wednesday. No, it's Wednesday and that's right. That's right, I'm almost up. No, it's Wednesday. It depends on the campaigns, right? So the Wednesday and the Friday, between 10 and 11 is what they say. It's really interesting though, because it shifts depending on the platform. So Instagram still says Wednesdays, but best times to post in here, Monday, Tuesday, Friday. And Friday was the big one. And I think it's because you're going into the weekend. So you're posting things like if it's a bar, if it's a restaurant, if it's clothing, if it's whatever it is. I'm making plans for the weekend. From a tourism point of view, Fridays is a huge day because I'm making plans to do something with myself, my friends, my family, my girlfriends, whatever, right? And they may not have made those plans, so you're trying to grab them on a weekend. So I thought that was very interesting. The other one too, though, is when you come out of it, the best time to post is on a Monday. That's because of what you did on the weekend, right? So the ones like, it's reverse psychology, is the ones like you're going into it, and the others like, here's my experience from the weekend. So it's kind of flip side. LinkedIn, best time to post Thursdays and Fridays. Again, I think it's the mindset of that you're working and you're going into the weekend. Worst times to post has been weekends, Sundays. Sundays is usually like, you're out doing things, you're busy, but more often than not, you're not as, you might be posting, but you're not observing as much. You're taking it in. Twitter, Wednesday, Friday, again, best days to post, and Pinterest, Friday and Saturday. And I think that's because Pinterest is more like your, to me, it's the crafting world of like your boards and that. I'm not a huge Pinterest person. I'm not as experienced in that, but I think that's because that's where you're spending more, your time is more there on a weekend, like on a Friday into the Saturday. And YouTube is also best time to post Thursday, Friday. So I'm noticing the trends of like a Wednesday to Friday and pushing into the weekend in around there. And the Mondays can be used sometimes for like coming out of it, but I tend to gravitate right now towards Wednesdays and Fridays. At the end of the day, as I always have said, people may not remember exactly what you said or did, but they will always, always, always remember how you made them feel. And that's what the sharing, the whole psychology behind this, all of that, that's what it's all about, is about being yourself, being genuine, being authentic, and that sincerity, that's what translates into sales. It really does. So the difference, being untouchable, gets you that remembered. And I always said to you, like, how do you want to be remembered? Start there, and the rest will come, I assure you.